Good evening and welcome to Different Perspectives. I'm Paul Ndiho in Washington. Tonight, Zimbabwe's political temperature is at a boiling point. On February 10th, 2026, a cabinet approved a constitutional amendment bill number 3, a proposal that is not just about policy adjustment, but a fundamental redesign of the country. At the center of the storm, a transition from a direct presidential voter to a parliamentary elections system, the extension of executive and legislative terms from 5 to 7 years, structural changes that could allow President Emerson Mnangagwa to remain in office until 2030 or beyond. Of course, government officials call this a policy continuity under Vision 2030. Critics call it a constitutional coup. Now, I'm going to introduce my guests who are live joining us in the studio. They're already here in the studio. Let me start by maybe giving a short introduction. Joining me tonight for this timely and critical debate from South Africa, I have Dr. Rick Mukonza, a political analyst and professor at Tshwane University of Technology. And representing the ruling party, ZANU-PF, is Dr. Masimba Mavaza. Gentlemen, welcome to Different Perspectives.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Zimbabwe. Welcome, friends and colleagues.
It's a pleasure to have you both. At least for you, Dr. Mavaza, this is the first time I'm having you. Rick has been a regular here. How are you guys doing?
We are fine, enjoying the weather and the heat back home.
Okay, so let's. I don't know what happened to Rick. Hopefully, he will rejoin us. Let me start with you. Dr. Mavaza. Set the stage for us. You are here representing the ruling party. A lot has been said, a lot has been talked about. This conversation is not going anywhere. Every Zimbabwean that I know is talking about this constitutional amendment bill that is being proposed by the ruling party. Since you're speaking for the ruling party, set the stage for us. Hello, Dr. Mavaza, can you hear me? Dr. Mavaza, can you hear me? Hello?
Thank you very much, sir. I'm not sure if you can hear me clearly because you were a bit breaking up. Can you hear me clearly?
Okay, I can hear you now. Go ahead. I was saying, set the stage for us.
Can you hear me at all?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? I can hear you. Dr. Mavaza, I can hear you.
I'm trying to talk, but I'm not sure if you can hear me. So I need confirmation that you can hear me.
Yes, go ahead.
Before I continue.
Go ahead.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'll come out and come back again.
Okay, guys, we are live. Dr. Rick, can you please adjust your screen? You cut off your head. I can't see your head. Okay, in case we are just having some technical challenges, in case you are just joining us, we are streaming live. This is Different Perspectives. I have two distinguished guests from Dr. Hello.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
If you can hear me now?
Dr. Rick, can you adjust your screen? I don't see your head, please.
Can you see me now?
Okay, that's better. Perfect. Okay, I guess we had some kind of disruption. I think let's restart all over again. Let me maybe start from the top. How is that?
No problem. We can just shoot.
Oh, okay. I was saying that since you are speaking for the government, you represent the government, set the stage for us. Every single
Yes.
person is talking about these new constitutional amendment bills that have been proposed by the ruling party. You represent the ruling party. Set the stage for us. What is this all about?
The first thing I need us to understand is that what Zimbabwe is doing now, or what the ruling party is doing now, it is entirely constitutionally and democratically correct. They are trying, and they are trying to amend some sections of the constitution to align them with the development and the wishes of the party and of the people. Yes, we might not be all agreeing with some terms and some conditions which are being put in to be changed, but the reality of the matter is this is a constitutional maneuver. It is an expected democratic way where the constitution can be amended through this way. But however, what you have to understand is that the amendments were gazetted as of Monday, and that means that we now have 90 days to deliberate and discuss them. So it's up now to every Zimbabwean who supports and who does not support to come up into these meetings and come up and voice his voice. And then we look at those consultative meetings, and then we see if it can continue or whether it can be tabled in Parliament. But what is happening now, we cannot look at it as a dictatorial way. No, it is actually a democratic way. We are within all rights as a party to suggest amendments to the Constitution. We must realize and understand that the Constitution is for the people. The people are not for the Constitution. So the Constitution guides the people, and the people control the Constitution. If the people think the Constitution is becoming a slightly heavier, they've got a right and a mandate to change it. However, there are sections which I personally, not as a party, but as a person, do not agree with. The first one is that we cannot in any way say the Constitution does not have a person who must protect it. By removing the army from protecting the Constitution, removing the police from protecting the Constitution, removing the people of Zimbabwe from protecting the Constitution, that amendment is wrong. You know, sometimes some people try to swallow a bone. There is a saying, I'll say it in a polite way. There is a saying which has been said by the Zimbabweans in most cases, that when a man swallows a bone, he trusts his backside to discharge it. So if we swallow big things and you can't discharge them, that is a recipe of disaster. So there are some sections added into the amendments which are overboard and that definitely should not be accepted. But however, the good thing is what is being done is a democratic process, and we are thankful that we still follow the democratic way. At the end of all this, it will define us as Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans will be defined by the outcome of this maneuver. Yes, majority of people are not happy with it. But I'm sure after the 90 days of explanation, there could be some more amendments to the amendment, and therefore we can work on that basis.
Well, let me get Professor Mukonza to weigh in. I want to get your thoughts on what Mavaza just said. But before we go there, he's saying that the Constitution is technically a working document. It can be amended anytime, and new amendments can be done. New changes can be made to that Constitution. In fact, he used some interesting analogy where he said you have a saying where they say that a man can only swallow, can only bite a bone that he can swallow, if I get it correctly. Meaning
Yes.
that what they are trying to do is in line with what the Constitution of Zimbabwe says. Let me get your immediate reaction.
Thank you very much, Paul, and good evening to your viewers and listeners. I totally hear what my colleague Dr. Mavaza is saying, but I respectfully disagree with him. My take on this matter, on the constitutional amendment number 3 is that what is at the center of it all, Paul and viewers, is the bad faith in which the government, and by extension the ruling party, are acting on this matter. Now, you would find that the constitution was passed in 2013. You calculate, simple calculation will tell you that it's almost about 13 years old. Now, in 13 years, why should a country, or why should people be so much in a rush, in a hurry, to want to make so many changes, or what I would refer to as wholesome changes to the constitution? Let's remember, Paul, that a constitution, of course, touches on a number of issues, but mainly a constitution has its value in how it regulates the relationship of the governors and those that are governed. So what worries me in this case is that ZANU-PF and the current government are so much in their own world, where they think that what they see as good is good for every Zimbabwean, which is totally, in my opinion, not correct. And I think if you want to see that there is bad faith in the manner in which this whole thing is being driven, there is an attempt to evade the referendum, which is a requirement in my view in making wholesome changes like the ones that have been proposed. So in essence, what I'm saying, Paul, is whilst Dr. Mavaza is correct in saying that there's nothing amiss by changing the constitution, but the circumstances under which this is happening and the intentions behind undertaking or pushing for these changes is what most Zimbabweans are questioning. And I bet my bottom dollar that if these amendments were to be put before a referendum, a majority of Zimbabweans would vote against the proposed changes.
Interesting. Now, to tie that point to maybe, I've been reading about what is happening. I remember reading something from your Minister of Information, Jennifer. She says that the changes will reduce election-related disruptions. Now, Dr. Mavaza, does ZANU-PF truly believe that the citizens' right to a direct vote is a disruption to national development? Hello? Hello? Dr. Mavaz? Rick, are you there?
Yes, I'm still there.
Thank you very much. That is a point we do not agree. What ZANU-PF had gone to war for and fought for, fighting the colonialists, it was fighting for the right to one man, one vote. And that is what the legacy of the party would be. And therefore, this is what a principle our brothers, sisters, and our mothers and parents that went out to war to fight for the right to vote. So to remove that right is wrong. So we are saying here, what has been tabled here is only proposals of the amendments. They will be discussed. So a number of useless things, a number of can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
You are freezing.
No,
Prof. Mkonda, can you hear me?
yes,
Yes,
please. Yeah,
I
we
can
can
hear
hear
you,
you.
Dr. Mavasa.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'll come out and come in again.
So no, you're fine. Stay there, stay there, stay there. Rick, you want to take that up?
Oh, yes. You see, because this amendment is being done in bad faith, it's you, there's something that you not miss, Paul, that you pick from the way in which ZANU PF and the government are defending this maneuver that they are undertaking. You would find that there's a lot of discord in terms of trying to justify why they are making the proposals that they are proposing. Now, a minister of government cannot come out and say elections disrupt development, when in actual fact elections are a means to hold those that would have been given an opportunity to govern accountable. If they don't do what the people want, people vote them out. If they do well, people reward them by voting them in again. So a person who then says, no, we have seen that elections are disruptive to development. In fact, if anything, elections are there to enhance development, because they help us or they help a society to hold those that would have been given the opportunity to govern for a particular period of time to be accountable. So I don't agree with that view, and I think it's a view that is coming from people who are ill prepared in terms of really demonstrating to the people why they are proposing the changes that they are proposing.
Dr. Mavaza, before you dropped off, you were making your point, and I wanted to go back to the point you're making. You said you went to the bush, you went to war to fight for the restoration of a democracy so that people can vote in Zimbabwe. But the proposal that is being put forward, in a way, takes away that right. You sort of, I want to know whether you agree with your Minister of Information, who is saying that the reason they're bringing these proposals to light is because voting, the way you've been voting, it disrupts development. It doesn't take Zimbabwe far. Would you agree with those kinds of statements?
The former Minister of Information, Dr. Jennifer Muswere, he made that statement. It was his entire opinion. It does not reflect the party, neither does it reflect Zimbabwe. You cannot say a process which creates leadership disrupts development. Elections is a process. It is the proof of democracy. It actually reinforces the trust of people into their leaders. So if you say we do not need that reinforcement, because the reinforcement of trust disrupts development, that is laughable. I can say to you, John, Prof. Mkota, you cannot say stopping at a service station and if you refuel your car disrupts your journey. Actually, it enhances the journey. So the minister was off a line there, and he was wrong. I want to get us correct. While we are for the amendment of the constitution, we are saying we need it to be amended in reasonable terms and not in selfish, unreasonable, dictatorial, and threatening manner. The things we are looking at now, the president of Zimbabwe had always said, President Mnangagwa, that he is a constitutionalist, and therefore he respects the constitution, and then and he protects it, and he can protect it with his blood. That's what he said. Now, the guys who are now coming up.
A quick follow-up on that. Does he mean that when he says that, they're saying that you're a constitutionalist on paper, but not in principle? When President Emerson Mnangagwa says that he's a constitutionalist, does he really mean it?
He means it. He is a constitutionalist. At the moment, we have not heard him publicly telling us what is his opinion of these amendments. He cannot interfere and stop them, but he can actually watch the process. He's a constitutionalist. As long as the process is constitutional and democratic, the president cannot stand up and say stop it. So we cannot accuse him or crucify him for what his lieutenants are doing. But we are saying with the lieutenants, sometimes we need some little sense. We can see the absence of sense in some of the sections which are being amended here, quite a lot. I don't understand why on earth you can remove the gender commission. I don't understand why on earth you can say we create a theme of the country, a backbone of the country, which is called a constitution, and we cannot protect it. So that alone raises a lot of eyebrows. So what we are simply saying is that one thing which we are waiting to see as the debate would escalate from the tabling of the proposals. How do they propose that the incumbent president is going to benefit from the changes? Because the constitution is very clear that the incumbent should not benefit from any change of the extension of the term. So I want to see how the president is going to do that. Sometimes the president can be bombarded with false advice and thought of, which is not very legally stable, and which can cause a lot of embarrassment and wipe out his legacy. We as Zimbabweans, we need to be reasonable to look at what it is. It was not ZANU-PF had suggested the amendment to the term of the president, which was resolution number 1 at ZANU-PF 2 conferences. Now, the other things which have then come accompanying this resolution are not coming from the ZANU-PF mouth as to speak, but from the government. We say, but we must appreciate that the government is not ZANU-PF, and ZANU-PF is not the government, even though ZANU-PF is in government. One thing we must understand, John and Prof, is that the amendment of the Constitution, it's not only ZANU-PF which is pushing for it. The opposition, Triple C, led by Sengezo Chabangu, they are actually in support of ZANU-PF. So ZANU-PF is, in other words, the representatives of the opposition and the representatives of the party are together agreeing to do the amendments. In other words, we are simply saying the whole of Zimbabwe agrees to amendments because the opposition is in sync with the party. But of course, there are sections we should look at, discuss now, and tell you clearly that Zimbabweans are not happy with them. We cannot lie and we cannot be intimidated. We'll stick to them and do the best. Yes, we need the president to stay 2 more years, but we don't need that to be done in an undemocratic way. So therefore, I will repeat it again. There is nothing wrong in amending the constitution. The process ZANU-PF is doing now is actually a proper constitutional process, and we are glad that it's happening. Now it has gone out to debate, out to discussion and consultations. Those who think it is wrong, they must come out and say it clearly, and we see the result of the consultative meetings.
Point well taken. Let's go to Professor Mukonza.
Thank you very much, Paul. I hear what Dr. Mabasa is saying.
Hold on. Okay, go for it.
And one of the things that I like is that he picks up a very important clause that in the Constitution that seeks to protect it. The clause that says the incumbent mustn't benefit from any constitutional changes that might take place. It is that clause, and also the clause that pushes for referendum when there are changes, certain changes, key changes that need to be made to the Constitution. Those 2 clauses, Paul and Dr. Mawasa, were meant to protect the Constitution from selfish or from selfish endeavors of those that will be in power, and we are seeing exactly why the drafters of the Constitution thought about those clauses, because 13 years down the line we can see through the tricks of President Emerson Mnangagwa and those that are supporting him. By the way, not everyone in ZANU-PF is supporting these amendments. There is quite a good number of those that can see that these amendments are being driven by selfish interests, and they are being driven, to protect, particular positions that are benefiting just a few. You asked a direct question, Paul, to Doc, to say, does he think that the president really means what he says when he says he's a constitutionalist? If you ask me the same question, my response is that I think the president is far from being genuine, or was far from being genuine when he made that pronouncement. I think now we can see his real, intentions and what he thinks, not through what he's saying, but through the actions of those that are around him.
Let me just do a quick follow-up on that. I tend to agree with both of you, but on the contrary, I wanted to bring in some example. This would not be the first time somebody is proposing a constitutional amendment. We've seen it happen in the region. We've seen in East Africa, leaders change their age limits, their term limits. We've seen leaders elsewhere propose constitutional amendments. They circumvent their constitutions to suggest that, we no longer want a direct popular vote. We want to go through a parliamentary system. Not that there is anything wrong with shifting goalposts in that direction, but for President Emerson Mnangagwa to suggest that he would not be the first person. Even his predecessor, Robert Mugabe, proposed the same kinds of things, but he did not go very far. How do you respond to that?
I hear you, Paul, and you are right. There's nothing wrong with changing the constitution. I think we must understand where the argument is. The argument is not necessarily about whether it is right or wrong to change the argument is about the contents of the change that is being proposed. The first thing that I want to point out, colleagues, is, we have heard President Mnangagwa, I'll say it in Shona and then try to translate it into English. Way back, before we all could understand what really he was talking about, he would say 2030 the negative chipo, which means in 2030 I'll still be there. By the time that he was talking about that, if one had calculated, because the constitution is very clear that the president can only do 2 terms, which are 5 years each. If one were to calculate from the time that the president was talking about he will still be there in 2030, the calculations would only lead one to 2028. So why would he make a statement like I'll still be there in 2030? And a few years down the line, we begin to see these constitutional amendments that confirm what he was saying. So for me, it's not necessarily about whether it's right or wrong to change the constitution, but it's about why are we doing it? Look, I must make this point, Paul, before I give my colleague an opportunity to talk. The argument that ZANU-PF advances that the president needs to be given 2 extra years in order to finish his projects or to finish some of the developmental projects that he has started. Now, tell me, Paul, a person has been given 10 years to preside over the affairs of the country. He wants 2 years. He wants to convince us that in 2 years he's going to do much more than what he could have done in the 10 years that he was given. I don't buy that. It's a question of selfish interest, biases for the president himself, and also those that are surrounding him, those that are benefiting from him continuing in power as the president of Zimbabwe.
How about before you come in, Professor Mavaza? Yesterday we saw a major development. 6 Liberation War veterans filed a challenge in court to block this bill from moving forward. Does that mean that internally there is some kind of a pushback from the old guard that suggests that the Agenda 2030 is on a wrong path, and the ruling party itself doesn't agree with this kind of, constitutional maneuvering? Hello?
Okay, Paul. What is happening now is actually the process of democracy. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, Doc.
Thank you. Paul is not hearing me.
No, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Paul, good. What I'm saying is that what is happening in Zimbabwe is the democratic process. We do not all have to agree on a point. We disagree peacefully. So what we do is, if you disagree, you have got a right to approach the court. So these war veterans who have approached the court have done well. I actually expected to see some people in diaspora, Professor Mkonza here, and others approaching the court as well, if they think that this is wrong. That's the democracy. That's where we show the world that we are Zimbabweans. We disagree peacefully and we disagree legally. But however, I wanted to respond to the prof a little bit. If you understand, I don't know whether it's a disagreement or an agreement. There's always a saying, my brother, which says, when you are writing an exam, which is 2 hours, and then you request 3 more hours on top of your first 2 hours, it means you cannot qualify for that exam. You failed. So we cannot authorize people to want to extend the terms of their offices because they failed to do what they're supposed to do in 10 years. It is 10 years for a reason. It is 10 years so that we can then sit down and reflect. There are very beautiful, good, and extraordinary presidents out of there, but they leave at the end of their term. Otherwise, no president could be living. So yes, the term extension, while it is tabled constitutionally, it does not mean that we agree with it or we all have to agree with it. We have to look at the debate which will be coming up. So we can simply say the constitutional maneuver is proper, but does it mean everybody is agreeable? We do not represent the people of Zimbabwe at large. That's why we have to take it to a debate, to a consultative meetings, and it will be tabled and voted for. But one thing which everybody is afraid to say is that even the opposition is willing to have the president stay there longer and have the constitutional changes, which are quite drastic. We are simply saying here, on the point, on my own as a lawyer, these amendments have not been thoughtfully gone through some thinking. They have been actually very far away from reason. And in that purpose, it actually embarrasses us as a country. If these are to be allowed, there goes the legacy of the president. But what we are looking at is the party is doing nothing wrong in having the amendments put. It is the duty of the party to amend or not to amend. But to show you how democratic the party is, we have raised, Paul, issues that are in the region, people have tried and failed. They are there, it's them, they've tried and they've failed. But Zimbabwe, we take pride in our independence. We take pride in our freedom. I'll give an example which the vice president mentioned, that we cannot say we should have a president who is not voted by people. And then we say because we are following the South African way. South African way is different. South Africa does not have an Independence Day. Even today, they don't celebrate independence. They have no Independence Day. We cannot then say let us follow them because they don't have Independence Day. It is the way they run their country. That is them. Our country should not be run under the lines of South Africa. It must be run on its own. We are unique people. We are Zimbabweans. And therefore, the changing of our constitution must not be aligned to the countries in the region, but must be unique and special to us as Zimbabweans. And therefore, we are saying here, we need to be very careful before we are excited. You know, the problem we have here is that some people who are so excited and who want the constitution to be changed are the ones who know that if we go to voting, they will not win. They've lost before, they'll lose again, they'll lose tomorrow. And that is abusing the trust people have and the trust in the party. So therefore, we would say while the change is good, is acceptable, but the drastic nature of that change should be looked at and should be democratic. People should not be victimized or penalized for opposing the amendment. And if we are fully democratic as we profess to be, we should allow people to debate it, argue it, and that's what Zambia has done. It has actually tabled the amendments. We've got 90 days to argue over the amendments, and then it will go before the parliament, and then it can be voted in parliament. So nobody can say it has been brought back door. Everybody is aware of it. Yes, we need the referendum. It's not part of it because the process taken does not require a referendum, and therefore we are following the constitution to the letter. People might want it to be done in a different way, but there are so many ways to do it. And why are these ways there? They are there because it can be done. So it is being done. So we do not have to complain or protest or demonize ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF is the only democratic party I'd ever known in the whole world. And therefore, we should be allowed
Okay,
to
Professor
exercise our
Mukonza.
democracy in our own special way.
Yeah, Professor Mukonza. The
Yes.
opposition group dubbed Defend the Constitution has petitioned, of course, the court. Then they've also gone to the African Union. Do you think really, given what's been happening in the region, you look at how the African Union somehow embraces these leaders who have changed constitutions before and they are part of the club? Do you think it means much for them even to want to seek some kind of guidance on this matter from the African Union, or the courts in Zimbabwe should take it up?
Thank you very much, Paul. And I want to commend Dr. Mavaza for being frank in saying some of the constitutional amendment or some of the proposal in the constitutional amendment number 3, are not sensible. When a person like Dr. Mavaza says that, I've been in interviews with him quite a lot, and I know his position, and he doesn't hide his position that he supports ZANU-PF. But when a person, comes out and says there are some, in fact, a good number of those proposals that don't make sense, I think he must be commended for that. Then going to your question, Paul, about whether I trust in whether it's the African Union or the courts where this matter is being taken by some, I've led to hope in that taking the matters to court will give Zimbabweans what they expect. What a good number of Zimbabweans, Paul and Dr. Mavaza, are not for these amendments because of the reasons that I've already alluded to. A lot of people think they are being done in bad faith, and they are being done to satisfy selfish interests by not even the entire ZANU-PF part, but by a few in ZANU-PF who are benefiting currently from the presidents of President Emerson Mnangagwa. I mean, the reason for my doubt with the courts is that there's a general feeling, Paul and Dr. Mawasa, that our courts in Zimbabwe are not very independent, especially on critical matters. The issue of courts being captured by the ruling elite, always surfaces from time to time. And for that reason, I don't have much faith that the courts can act as arbiters or as objective, arbiters of important matters like the one that is before us. We don't want to even look at some of the key officials in the judiciary and what the system has done for them. So I'm not very optimistic about what could come out of the courts. The AU or even SADC, I also am not optimistic because, we have seen matters that have been taken to those, platforms where, everyone can see that, the right decision is this. And either they turn a blind eye or they do the opposite. So whilst those avenues are important to explore, they help in highlighting, the matter at hand. But I'm not optimistic that a solution can be found from those quarters.
We seem to be having a huge following watching the show. I see the numbers is up to 200. Wow, that's great. Let's pause for a short moment and maybe give them a shout out. Let me give a shout out to the people watching us from all over the world and following this conversation. You are watching Different Perspectives with me, Paul Ndiho. We are streaming live across all social media platforms: YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Just search for Paul Ndiho or Different Perspectives. And if you value this kind of independent reporting, analysis, support this program, feel free to send us your donation via PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, or subscribe to our social media platforms. Become a paid member for this for the premium access and the content that we produce. Of course, your donation will help us reach a bigger audience, stream every single day, produce more content like this, and bring voices, critical voices like what we have today, voices from across Africa and here in the diaspora. Let's go back to my guests. And my guests today are Professor Rick Mukonza and Professor Masimba Mavaza discussing the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 in Zimbabwe. I think before the short break, we're talking about the role of the African Union, the courts, but let's go to the bill itself. The bill adjusts the mandate language of the defense forces. For example, does this represent institutional clarification or executive consolidation? Is the president, if this is passed, is the president trying to consolidate power when it comes even to how he handles the army? I was reading through the bill and saw that's some of the stuff that I picked up. Maybe it will go to Professor Mavaza. Hello? Hello?
Dr. Mavaza?
Dr. Mavaza. Okay. How about Dr. Rick Mukonza? Can you take it up?
My take is exactly what I've already alluded to, Paul. That I think the amendments are more of a means by the president, and I keep repeating that it's the president. It's not a mistake that I'm repeating that. I'm making a point that Paul, these amendments are not coming from anywhere else. They are coming from the president himself, and obviously, being the experienced politician that he is, he creates the impression that it's the party that is saying his term must be extended by 2 years. It's the party that is saying some the army must not protect the constitution, and all those other aspects of the amendment. But the truth of the matter is that it is him, and it is him because he wants to consolidate the power. We know that he has served his first term. He is now in his second term, and he knows that even within ZANU-PF, there are others who are looking forward to taking over from him after his 2 terms, and he is trying. Look, one of the things that we need to understand. I'm not talking, putting on the lenses of political science. One of the things that we must, whilst Mnangagwa seems to be, whilst the amendments seem to be, there to strengthen Mnangagwa against, against competitors outside of the party. But I think he's dealing more with those within his party, particularly the vice president, who is looking to take over from him. If you look at the clause to extend his term, it's dealing with the vice president. If you look at the clause that talks about the army, it's dealing with the vice president who has a military background or who is coming from the army. So I think that dimension needs to be explored and be understood so that we understand well some of the maneuvers that we are seeing.
How about you, Dr. Mavaza? Are you with us? Can you hear us? Dr. Mavaza, I am posing a question to you. Do you hear me?
Oh.
Okay. So I want you to respond to this. The president would gain authority to appoint 10 additional senators. I mean, he already has so much power, but this specific one, he wants more senators, which a lot of critics argue that this is going to strengthen the ruling party dominance. How do you respond to that? Because everything that we see in some of these proposed amendments, it's all favoring the ruling party. All the other groups are not anywhere in the picture. How do you respond to that?
Thank you very much, Paul. Actually, let me start by saying, yes. Thank you, Paul. Let me start by correcting. I'm not yet a professor. I'm Dr. Mavaza. Professor is Professor Mkonta. But I receive
point well taken.
Title. Yes.
My apologies.
But now let me. No, I'm not complaining. I received the prophetic titling. Right. My point here, Paul, is that firstly, before I come to the question you've raised, let me just briefly touch what Professor Mkonda had said. Number one, a country should not only be relying on the regional friends for its personal issues. Zimbabwe has not come to a level where we need interference by the regional players. So SADC, AU and everything can only come in when we think we've failed to run our own affairs. At the moment, we are running our affairs perfectly well, and therefore there's no need even to look at it. But the point my colleague had raised that we do not have trust in our judicial system, I beg to differ. Our judicial system is very independent. Yes, there might be one or two guys trying to persuade the judges to rule otherwise. But the truth is, a judge is actually a man of honor. He cannot be swayed by politics. Judges would come up with the legal truth. Law is very stubborn. regardless of whom you want to favor, you cannot come up with a wrong decision simply because you want to favor somebody. So yes, we have to trust our legal system, we have to trust our judicial, and we have to trust our judges. Now, coming to the point you have raised, yes, I agree with you, and I fully agree with you, and this is my personal opinion. Section 212 of the Constitution, which had given the army the mandate to protect the Constitution, which is now being withdrawn in this proposal. It is actually reducing our army to become security guards, to become faucet security guards, and that's not what we expect. Our army should have that dignity of protecting something important for the country. If you protect the country, you must protect its constitution too, because there is no country without its constitution. Even though we've got countries like England who have no written constitution, but they have a constitution, and the army in Britain has a mandate to protect that constitution. And therefore, I would say here we should look at the army as the protector of the constitution, and therefore it is not fair. It's right for the constitution to be ignored, or for the army to be removed from its protective duties of the constitution. There must be protectors of the constitution, not the army only. Every Zimbabwean must protect the constitution, collectively, individually, and as a group. And therefore, removing that protection from the constitution is wrong, and that will be a wrong precedent, and that should not be accepted in the amendment.
How about let's talk about the elephant in the room? Shifting goalposts from 5 years to 7 years. What is it that the government wants to do that it can't do in 5 years? Why are they trying to shift these goalposts, saying that, oh, because in 5 years we can't do much, now we need 7 years to finish whatever jobs that we set out to do? Is that realistic? I want to hear what your thoughts are from both of you.
To start with, my Paul, a project done by a president is not personal. We cannot personalize projects of the country. So if you don't finish the project, somebody who is coming over will finish it if it is a noble project. And therefore, it will be wrong to say, I need to finish a project which I've started. If you have not finished it within the period given to you, whoever comes over will take over and finish. And again, secondly, we are still, as I'm saying, we are still waiting for the president to give his own word, his own thumbs up or thumbs down over the constitutional changes. At the moment, the president
wait a minute. You just said that you're still waiting for the president to come and pronounce himself on that. But who do you think is behind all this? He's the head of cabinet. This was passed through cabinet.
Yeah, but the cabinet does not mean the president is the one who accepts. It's the cabinet.
I mean, there's no other authority in Zimbabwe or any other power that is above the president who chairs the cabinet.
The president does not have the power to approve the changes of the constitution alone. It is the duty of the cabinet, and then it will go to parliament. So what I'm simply saying here, the president has not said his opinion yet. This is a collective opinion of the party. He cannot depart from what the party wants to do because he is the party leader. But it does not mean that he is the one who is pushing it. He is not. He has already said from the beginning he does not want to go beyond 2028. But he is a listening president. If his people are urging him to go ahead, what can he do? He will grab it and go ahead. But we are saying, is it a good thing for us as a country? The answer is no.
Rick is, I see Rick's smiling. Maybe you want to weigh in as well?
No. I'm enjoying what Dr. Mavaza is saying. And again, he nails it when he says national projects must be separated from individual projects. When the president is given to preside over a country for 5 years, whatever he was not able to do in those 5 years must be taken over by the next president. And also, Paul, we must challenge. There's a logic that some ZANU-PF people have been advancing on why President Mnangagwa must be given an extension of a term. Others actually, previously, others were saying no, he must be given a third term. But now they are talking about an extension of the existing term. They say it's because he has done so well, and therefore we must reward him with an extra 2 years. But my argument is that we elect leaders so that they govern us well. We don't elect leaders expecting them to govern us badly. So rewarding a president for doing what we expected him to do when we elected him, it's like clapping hands for fish because it has swum. We expect fish to swim, so why should we clap hands for it when it does what it is supposed to do?
Let me follow up with a quick question. I've been to Zimbabwe a couple times. I talk to so many people from Zimbabwe. I have a lot of friends from Zimbabwe. They tell me one thing. They say the economy is really not in good shape. People are still fleeing the country looking for greener pastures. You see a lot of young people on the streets. They are jobless. They don't have jobs. The economy itself is not doing very well. So why would the government that you serve and that you defend want to even to ask for an extension of term when they have failed to deliver? In the last, you guys have been in power for almost 50 years.
That's precisely the question that should ZANU-PF, time and time fail to answer. I think Zimbabwe is worse off today than it was, for example, 20 years ago. I think some of us, Paul, we had to move out of Zimbabwe in order for us to, to earn a decent living. The Zimbabwean economy, we can't say it's performing well only for a few who are connected to the system. Of course, you have outliers, one or two that will make it without those connected.
Paul, I'm sorry because let me finish. Paul, I'm sorry you are mistaken. Zimbabwean economy is improving. Even the World Economic Forum have actually said Zimbabwe is the fast growing economy in Africa at the moment. Our infrastructure is being...
Where are you getting your data?
I can give you the data when we finish. But our infrastructure is being rehabilitated. Our roads are getting better. You find things in the shops. We are the most peaceful country ever. We do not have wars and fights like other neighbors of ours. And even our crime rate, even if it's soaring, it's not as bad as other Southern African countries. That means our economy is perfect. Yes, the grass is always greener outside. People want to go out to find greener pastures, but they'll always go back home because home is best. And Zimbabwe is doing very well. So it is not correct to say we have failed as a government. We are doing very well.
I did not say you failed. I did not say you failed. I just said that looking at what everybody sees, the economy is not performing as it should be. There is high unemployment in Zimbabwe. You have an influx of people leaving every single day. Every young person wants to leave Zimbabwe. If the economy is doing very well, why would young people want to flee?
Zimbabweans have been taught not to be servants, not to work for somebody. 99% of Zimbabweans, they work for themselves. And if you don't regard that as employment, it's a shame. because it is. They are employed. They are self-employed. They are working very well. Our gold input is very high. Our diamonds input is very high. We have found some oil in Machinery Central. We are working on it. The Lord in heaven is opening mines, is opening minerals, even oil. It's unheard of to get oil from Southern Africa. We are the first Southern African country to have oil. So if you look at this, Zimbabwe is developing. Yes, we have got some few criminals who are trying to steal from that, but it does not make Zimbabwe a failed state. It has actually improved very well since the second dispensation. President Mnangagwa has done his job very well, but it does not mean that he must stay there forever. I want you to give you an example, Paul. I assume any of the three of us have been through a classroom before. If you do very well in class as a student, it does not mean you have to stay in that class as a student forever because you're doing well. It's time to move on to another level and let other students come. The president has done very well as the president, and we know that. It does not mean he has to stay there forever. He has to move on and somebody else come on and carry on his legacy. The president is not willing to be bound by those who want him to stay forever. He wants to give a chance to others. You will see the way he is empowering the youth, empowering the women, empowering Zimbabweans. He is empowering them so that they can be empowered and run the country better. He does not want to die in the office. He simply wants to make sure things get better. So those who are lying that they all want to run away from Zimbabwe, we tried. We ran away, we go back home. We ran away, we go back home. Every person, every country. Do you know in Zimbabwe, we've got the British, we've got the Americans, we've got the Chinese, Nigerians, Ugandans. Every nation is in Zimbabwe. Why? Because our economy is doing well. It's only those who want to be employed, who want to be servants, who think that they cannot get an employment. You can be self-employed and still become Zimbabwean. I'm proud of what our government has done and what it is still doing. So when we talk of economy, it's a topic for another day. If we stick to the constitution, that's the point we can talk about. But it's not correct to say Zimbabwe has failed. We have not. We've done very well, and people are copying from us. The Chinese are flocking into Zimbabwe because our economy is blooming. The British are flocking into Zimbabwe. We now have 9 airlines which fly into Zimbabwe every week from 0 to 9. And we are having more to come. The Air Zimbabwe will be starting in March. We all know that. It will be having direct flights to the USA and to UK. So you see, we are developing and things are getting better. Yes, there was a time where it had gone down economically, but we must praise where it is due. Zimbabwe has done well, and we want to thank the president for this, and we want to thank ZANU-PF for leading us into this promised land which we have, because indeed, with ZANU-PF, you can never go wrong.
Okay, let me give Rick the last word. We have about 30 seconds. Rick, you want to weigh in? Is the Zimbabwean economy doing very well, as he says?
I totally disagree that the Zimbabwe
I don't know if you can hear me.
I totally disagree that the Zimbabwean economy. Yes, Dr. Mavaza, can you hear me?
Go ahead. We're almost out of time. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yes, I totally disagree that the Zimbabwean economy is doing well, because it's not. If you look at all indicators, including the salaries of civil servants, the way in which people in the rural areas are suffering, and many other indicators. You agree with me that I think there are serious challenges that have to do with the economy of Zimbabwe. And if there are those that are doing well, it's a few selected and connected who are doing well, and we can't base our judgment on those few that are benefiting from the current system. So the Zimbabwean economy is not doing well, and this is precisely the reason why people are getting angry at the prospects of an extension of an extension of President Mnangagwa in the presidency, because people were thinking that at least after enduring the 10 years of President Mnangagwa, if somebody comes into the office, the fortunes of the country may turn for the better. So it's not true that the economy is doing well. And if it's doing well, it's doing well for who?
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Gentlemen, I want to thank you both for being here. Thank you so much, Professor Rika Mukonza and Dr. Mavaza. Thank you so much for this robust and necessary discussion. The bill now moves towards gazetting and parliamentary debate. The region is watching, the diaspora is watching, and Zimbabweans in everywhere around the world are watching closely. I appreciate you both for your insights. Thank you again. If you appreciate independent conversations like this one, please support our work and visit paulindiho.com. Feel free to send your donation via PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, and subscribe to our social media platforms. Become a paid member for premium access to our content. Your donations help us research, stream, and produce more content like this, bring voices from across Africa and diaspora into the studio. Follow, share, and subscribe to us on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Spotify, and Substack.
Let me come in.
No, we are done. Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.